Desiree Ellis goes through the middle, goes the sub. This is a great goal by the captain! Superb goal!
And I have the victorious coach, Gordon Iggerson. Coach, an emphatic victory today. But tell me, do you think you can now challenge for league honours?
Yep, we can proudly say here at the SABC that we trained the Banyana Banyana caretaker coach. As you could see there, she was trained in media, doing the interviews before joining the national team in her caretaker coaching role right now. But before we get into that conversation, I know a lot of you are asking on Twitter and as well on Facebook where Ayanda Patosi is. Well, unfortunately, Cape Town City have gone on a bit of a team building exercise which came up a little bit last minute, and he's been unable to join us in our Cape Town studio tonight, but we'll keep working on trying to get him into the studio. But we stay with things Cape Town because one of the great players of Banyana Banyana hails from Cape Town. She is Desiree Ellis, 32 caps and 6 goals in that time, over 9 years with Banyana Banyana. What a good story for a player to move on to being a caretaker coach of the national team. She's here with us and we'll unpack what is going on with Banyana Banyana as well, Desiree, with the Women's Month coming up next month. It's a great time to start off giving the appreciation that we should to women's football.
But I think every day should be Women's Day.
It is already. What do you mean?
not just Women's Month, but definitely great appreciation, yes.
Yes, and we are planning to do so. Let's start with you, though. Where did it start for you, Des?
Well, it's maybe 6 years old at primary school, playing with the boys. I think that's the story of most girls. Then when I found out there was a girls' team, well, I was like many other people, girls, you know, because I've always played with boys. And then eventually I joined a girls' team. My late father, biggest supporter ever, only supporter, would take me wherever I went. That took over the club that I joined at that time, Athlone Celtic. All my sisters were forced to play because now it was a family-owned club, and eventually joined another club, which then became Cape Town Spurs, later changed to Spurs, and you know, 30 years on with Spurs until I became the coach of Banyana Banyana. But
you're going fast through the story. You're going very fast through the story. And I don't want you to go through so quickly because I think a lot of it is going to be inspirational. You playing at a time in a country that isn't free. You're playing in a country that doesn't have even a thing like Banyana Banyana when you are growing up. So there wasn't even that thing to say, I want to be a national team footballer. Why were you playing?
I always dreamed of playing for the national team.
But which national team? Because back then
we were just hoping that we would get the opportunity. And we talk about Mandela Month. He was released from prison, and I was fortunate enough to go for trials at the very young age of 30. And I went for trials, made the national team.
30?
30.
Your first game?
First game.
You were 30 years old?
30 years old.
Debut?
Debut.
No, Des, don't lie. That visuals of you scoring was an over 30-year-old.
Yes. Hat-trick, hat-trick. We beat Swaziland 14-0. 3 players got a hat-trick.
That, ladies and gentlemen, as much as we were talking the other day about Bafana Bafana and it being 25 years of age, Banyana Banyana first game ever was on the 30th of May, 1993. It was the beginning of Banyana Banyana, and it was against Swaziland. You gave them 14-0. First game, 14. No, Des, that's not fair, man. 14 on your debut.
We had some great players, eh? We had Fikile Satole, Kabuzita. Those were great players.
Kabuzita, I'll tell you a story. Kabuzita is maybe the best women's footballer I've ever seen with the ball at her feet.
She was amazing. I didn't even dare try to do those things.
I don't even want to say women's footballer. She's amongst the best footballers I've ever seen with the ball at her feet. That one could dribble people, and not know where the ball went.
The most skillful player that I've ever known. You
did have a great team back then, but even the name Banyana Banyana, like, was it already there in 93?
No, it wasn't. They called us Bafazi, Bafazi. and then Fikile and Kabo them said, no. We don't want that name. We don't
was that
want
a real, is that a true story?
Yes.
So original name was Bafazi, Bafazi?
That's correct, yes.
And then you're like, aye. It's not the one.
No, it's not the one.
So then how did it develop into Banyana Banyana?
I don't know, but it just became about that. We eventually got called Banyana Banyana.
and only after complaints, though.
Yeah, the girls complained, yes.
And then the name got changed, and the rest is history as we speak about it. But so now you get into this team, age 30, and you go on to play 32 times. A lot of people will say, 32 times, Des, that doesn't sound like too many times. But times were different back then.
Oh, yes, we didn't play that often. Especially the year that there was no competition, we wouldn't play at all. We'd go to an inter-provincial tournament, get selected, and then only when there is a competition like the AFCON, we would all come together, the squad would get selected and play 1 or 2 friendlies, and then come for the tournament itself.
So it was that thing of, oh, there's a tournament in 3 weeks. Okay, let's call everybody up, and then you get your cap, you play, then you go nothing for months and months and months, maybe even an entire year, and then come back, tournament coming up in 3 months. Okay, let's go into camp, play the tournament.
I think it was the same for most African countries, because that was the only tournament at the time, which was the African Women's Championships. It was the only tournament. And in between, there weren't really tournaments in Africa for women, except for Nigeria qualifying for the World Cup and then going on to play at the World Cup. But other than that, there weren't many tournaments. We had interprovincial tournaments, and those were some of the tournaments that we played in.
So how hard is it, and how hard was it? Because I know when I compare, and we'll talk about comparisons, and like now you're in training camps, you've got all the facilities, but how hard was it back then for Banyana Banyana and for a woman who wanted to play in the national team football?
Look, if you love the game like we did, and you were passionate in what you did, we just stayed focused in that way and just played the game. Just played the game, because that is what we wanted to do. There wasn't a lot of money in the game back then either. I remember we used to get the one T-shirt and train in the T-shirt and come back and train in the same T-shirt, or if you got injured, somebody would come. But the passion that the players had, I think that was of utmost importance. And then we had Dennis Mlambo always coming into camp and wishing us well, and that was refreshing for someone to come in and always supporting us back in the day.
But it sounds like it wasn't hard then.
It was tough though, because we obviously wanted to play more. And when the first time the tournament was held in South Africa, we said to ourselves, this is where we're going to market women's football, because playing outside the country, and I mean, we lost to Nigeria so many times, playing in the country, we said, here we're going to market ourselves. And I remember Vosloorus was packed out to capacity, and we had the fans coming in, and I think that was the rise then again of women's football.
I think I'm going to give her the nickname of Shoes, because the late Shoes Moushwe, we all know, played his football until he was 42. Desiree Ellis played football until how old?
I retired from the national team, or actually I was dropped from the national team at 39, and then retired from football at 42.
Yes. Like your final game, 42,
yes.
And the legs were still carrying you.
Well, not exactly, you know. When you love the game, you think you can do more. But eventually you realize, now I cannot compete with the young ones anymore.
Does that really happen where you think, I can get to that ball, but you just don't?
It does. It does. It does.
Your head is like, I know I can get there.
It definitely does.
And then the person goes past and you're like, hey, what happened?
It definitely does. And a former referee and a referee's convener in Cape Town, PJ, he said to me, I think you shouldn't continue playing. Let people remember you, you know, the good things, and get into coaching.
You're in slow motion now.
Exactly.
Yeah, it was commentators in Mlambo, but you were actually going full speed. Des, now, since October, you've been the caretaker coach of Banyana Banyana. First of all, what a great story. I mean, from player, captain, caretaker coach now. What a journey.
You know, you dream of playing for the national team, right? And then you play for the national team, and you get to captain the national team. And I think that is one of the biggest honors you can have. But not thinking that far ahead, you know, and eventually becoming the caretaker coach, I mean, it was something else. I was so excited, and I didn't know how to grasp all of it at that time. You
know, this is a question I've always wanted to ask somebody, and I've got you now to ask this question. What does that feel like when the pressure is now you? You know, you were an assistant, but, you know, assistant is fine. You've been a player. It's different. Now you're the coach. Now you're that person at the press conference, or when the team loses, or when the selection is popped. You're that person. How does it feel?
100 times worse than being a player, being an assistant coach. And you work 100 times harder in trying to get everything together, in planning, in doing your training sessions, in giving players information.
What do you actually do? I've always thought, what do coaches actually do at a national team level? Because when you look at what it should be, really? I mean, it's the club coach who does most of the work. You see the players 2 weeks before the tournament. Well, it's just team talk. Well done, guys. Let's go out on the field, right?
No.
No?
No.
It's harder than that?
Much harder. I've been fortunate to be an assistant for 2.5 years, and I think that's helped me going into as interim coach. Attention to detail, knowing as much as you can about your opponents, who the key players are, their set plays, how you need to defend there, and then when you're playing on the other side, attacking, how you can exploit that as well, how to get the formation we're going to play, the players we're going to use in the formation, the changes that we could possibly make, different scenarios, set plays, who stands where, who picks up who. So everything is attention.
Science, eh?
Everything is attention to detail. You watch videos of your opponents to try and see how they play, so that you can counter that and maybe use that to your advantage. So it isn't just going onto the pitch and doing a training session. Everything is planned. You've got it there on your computer, and you know what's going to happen.
And it must be really hard for you, because as much as, you know, Stuart Baxter is the national team coach of Bafana Bafana, he gets to watch the games on TV every week. He can see the players. You can watch in Europe. Tapes are flying in all the time. He'll have an idea of who's doing what. How hard is it with the women's game?
It is hard, but we have a good support staff.
But how do you know who's doing well?
We have a good support staff, especially in Johannesburg. We have Shalene Boyson, who's the performance analyst, who was recently just with Bafana. She goes around to games here. You have contact with, for example, Tina Sonke in KZN. Then we also have 28, or we have CAF A licensed coaches that you can speak to and try and get information. And if a player is identified, for them to go have a look. Then there's some tournaments that you can go to. I was fortunate enough to go to East London, where I saw one player there. I then went to the university selection, where we saw a whole lot of players as well, who's now currently in camp. I flew down early on Sunday to come and watch TUT and Soweto Fabulous. Just after the university club champs, I stayed behind to watch Sundowns and Super Falcons play a top of the table clash. And I regularly go to games around Cape Town, and people say I'm crazy, but you never know, because you might just find that one special player.
And it's changing, because the special players are now, and this is one of the most amazing stories of Banyana Banyana. The players are now being exported. We are now sending players abroad, and quite a few. I mean, I think about Andy Siwa right now. I think Janine van Wyk just left. She's in the USA. You have now got a good base of players playing outside of South Africa.
Well, Andy Siwa is actually back in South Africa. She'd injured herself and had come
But she had been in Germany.
She had been in Germany, yes, and she did really well there. You also have Jermaine out in the US. You have Robin Moodley out in the US, and a lot of players from the 2010 Under-17 World Cup squad. A lot of them are studying in the US as well. And I regularly get links from the coaches to have a look at those matches. So it's becoming a bit more easier with the network that we have.
So why are you in camp? Why are all the girls, you've got, what, 31 players 34, right now?
34.
34 of them here in Johannesburg. Why are you here?
We're preparing for COSAFA. We know that the students leave in the middle of August, so we're preparing for COSAFA. And in turn, we also, in that way, assisting the university student team, because 12 of their players are in our squad, and there's regular interaction between the technical team of Banyana and the university team.
So the COSAFA Women's Championship was last played in 2011.
That's right.
It's coming up in September. Banyana Banyana are part of that. Are we the defending champions?
No, we are not. We are not.
We're not the best in COSAFA.
We lost in 2011 to Zimbabwe. Yeah, but before that, we were the first winners of that, and I was fortunate enough to still play at that time. That was my last game for Banyana Banyana.
So you have a medal?
I have a medal.
And you can then show the girls. This is what it looks like, ladies.
No. There's some players in there, like Janine and Amanda, they've got winners' medals from the COSAFA. Just the last one that was out was in 2011, and we didn't win at that time.
So what's going to happen this time around?
Well, we got to show that we top in our region. We got to show that we're coming back to win that trophy, and the girls are really looking forward to that.
Thank you, Desiree Ellis, former player of Bafazi, now known as Banyana Banyana, founder member of the team, and now caretaker coach of Banyana Banyana. Champunino, you've never coached, caretaker, never played. I've played soccer with you. Papu, what's happening?
Thomas, I mean, really, Joe. I attempt, like, you know, like the female Proteas. Yeah, I have a name for them. Name Mblom. It's proper. I'm sitting here with PH, Thomas. Not to say that. PH, what's the name of the coach who are Pirates, that guy?
What do you mean?
Who was he? You see, Laban or why? That could be the score. Chiefs 1, Pirates, Back to you, Thomas and Gong.